Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to One Good Question, our Friday episode of 50% Facts, where we take questions from y'all. If you want to get involved and ask us questions, goodcompany.discord.com. Join the Discord, like-minded community. You get early access to all our clothing drops, but also you can ask us a question. And today's question is, and I think we've covered this generally, but I don't know right on the head specifically. When and how should parents introduce their kids to strength training?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, in Eastern Bloc Europe, it's very common to do it early. They're doing body weight stuff, gymnastics, and some type of weightlifting, or at least the movements themselves. Most research shows that, with any basic, proper program, lifting weights is not going to hurt by any means. The whole stunt your growth thing, et cetera, et cetera. The only way that happens is an impact injury around a growth plate, which means, someone gets crushed by a squat and snaps their leg. But that's obviously much less likely than even a kid snapping their leg playing in a tree or playing soccer.
Right. It can happen.
Yeah, it can happen anywhere. But it's in a controlled environment. It's much less likely. And lifting weights is the most controlled movement possible. Soccer, it doesn't really matter. Any team sport, even track and field, obviously much more dynamic and much more likely for bad things to go wrong. And you would never say like, oh, I don't want my kid to run.
Right.
In terms of introducing like strength training particularly, I think, and again, I'm not a parent, so take it with what you want, but I have worked with kids of all ages in the gym and coaching in basketball for years. I think the most important thing for all of this is just to give exposure and introduce different activities and also lead by example. Those are kind of the two things I look at. So exposure to different sports, throwing a ball, kicking a ball, shooting a ball, hitting a ball, baseball, golf, hockey, all those different things, and to make sure that they're having fun at the younger ages is most important. And then hopefully they find themselves more attracted to or interested in one of the activities. Maybe they like running more, they like swimming more, they like kicking more, they like throwing more. And the weight training itself could be basic. The other thing too is I would just, the issue with strength training is that it doesn't feel like a game. And so you kind of like, it's more of like a switch to me. You either introduce it or not, where the other sports you can kind of like play. And I think playing and enjoying the physical activity is most important. But what I would say, and an easy anecdote, is Bart himself. Bart has a gym in the back of his house, and he works out every morning, 5 a.m. to like 7 a.m. His son's eating breakfast and sees him doing that through the window. And now Taika comes out and like asks him for an exercise. So one day Bart will have him do a couple push-ups. One day Bart will have him do a couple kettlebell swings, some goblet squats, body weight squats, etc. But that's kind of the leading example part, where until they're probably playing really competitive sports, which is like junior high, high school, I'm probably not even like showing them the gym or saying, I'm probably waiting for them to ask me to come to the gym with myself or ask something like that. Where, again, introduction to general movement, general sport, I think is always great. But if I'm doing push-ups at home every night and my son sees that and wants to do push-ups with me, like, yeah, I'm going to let him do it.
I think that what you said, there's totally the key to it. It's like, when are they interested and how interested are they? Are they interested enough to stick with doing something, or is it just like they want to try it one time, whatever? Another one is like opportunity. Like if you have a home gym, that's a totally different thing than, because like where else is a kid going to get exposed to stuff? Like if you don't have a home gym, then you have to rely on either trainers that take younger kids, or you have to wait until a kid is able to be a gym member, and they have to be, initially they have to be with a parent until a particular age. And so like, that's a lot of places it's 12 or 14 or whatever. That makes sense. Or if they're playing a sport,
they might do it
like
through school.
A school organized sport where they're
the team's doing it.
The team's doing it. I mean, but those are not. I mean, most of those are not happening before 8th grade, right?
Yeah, and you can make the gym like fun, but again, like inherently, it's not like a game. Like you have to like learn to squat or not.
Right.
Or like, yeah, you should probably teach your kid how to like run correctly and throw correctly, but it doesn't have to be so structured. First, you just run and throw, and they're just having fun, and you're just playing tag, which is just running. where the gym just doesn't have like that kind of intro exposure aspect.
It's hard to gamify.
Yeah.
Unless you're using an app or something like that.
Yeah, but then even then, like, you still have to learn and you're like in it.
Right.
So like a formal introduction, I would probably say like junior high, or once they find some kind of sport, or they find interest. If they find interest earlier, yeah, man, teach your 5-year-old how to like air squat. There's no harm in that. Teach them how to plank. Teach them how to push up. If they want to try chin ups when they're at the park fucking around, I think there's no harm. But yeah, I don't think there's like a right way. But I think there's probably multiple like wrong ways.
Yeah, and I think like one wrong way is to force kids to do something that they're not interested in.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. If you anything like super structured just isn't fun, because you're stuck in school all day. Like you're stuck with homework. Like your whole life's structured. So if I'm a kid, my dad's like, "All right, man, it's push-up hour." I'm like, yeah, fuck that. You know.
Yeah. My grandkids are kind of good examples because the older one, he's like. Anything there is to do, he's got an excuse for why he doesn't want to do it, and then he gets there and he has a good time.
Yeah.
And that's just his personality. That's just him. Whereas his brother, who's about to be 7 next month, recently decided she's been doing gymnastics since he was like 3 or 4, and because they start very early in the parts of Canada where you can't be outdoors all winter.
You gotta do something.
You gotta do something. And he has very recently decided that this round of gymnastics is his last. He's done. He's not interested anymore. Whatever, just doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And the mistake is to force a kid to keep doing something that they're not interested in doing.
Yeah. I think you force exposure, but you don't force the continuance, right? Because they don't know. You're the adult for a reason. You know what's best for them, and they should at least try it. But if he's tried it a couple years and now he's over it, yeah, you should probably listen to your kid.
I think too, it's like you enjoying it and being good at it are different things too.
For sure.
Because there are plenty of adults who's like say, I love golf, but I suck at it, or I love tennis, but I suck at it, and that's a particular mindset too. Like, not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
Some people are just too competitive to have fun doing something that they don't excel at.
And you just have more freedoms as an adult, obviously, right? You get to choose all that stuff.
Correct.
As a kid, if you like suck at everything and you're being forced to do it, it's going to be torture.
Yeah. I think you need to figure out how to help your kid. Maybe more importantly than anything else, figure out how to develop that sense of mastery about something in kids. And
right. That's where the balance of like quitting happens, because you don't want them just like quit either.
Yeah.
And like maybe it's hard. Like, well, you want them to do hard shit.
Right.
Yeah, it is a fine balance, and there's no like direct answer. But like my parents handled most of that pretty good. I was obviously in love with basketball, so it was easy. But like with stuff I didn't like college or whatever, they're like, well, like you just got to do something. Like, you either got to go get a couple jobs, or you're going to go to college, or you're going to do something. So maybe that's like the sport rule. Like, all right, you don't have to be on the soccer team, but then we're going for an hour walk every afternoon, or you need to be outdoors for 3 hours a day, or there's got to be something.
Right.
You don't like soccer? All right, we'll go try gymnastics. You don't like gymnastics? We'll go try golf, or we'll go try basketball or whatever. And then, I think a lot of them, so much depends on the kid, but you just get them to do everything. Bart's got taika and something every day, and seemingly enjoys them all. I'm sure there's one or two he likes better than the others, but he's doing Muay Thai one day, basketball the next day, jiu-jitsu the next day. Generally speaking, he always talks highly of them and always wants to show off and tell me what he's doing and stuff. So you find a group full of them, and then as you get older, they probably line up better or worse with a different sport. Tech is still like 6, so he's just happy to run around. But yeah, you get to 7, 8, 9, 10, and then even junior high. And then high school, hopefully, you choose a sport or two and excel or have fun.
And he's not yet at the point where school's going to be demanding in a way that you can't keep up that level of activity, because you do reach that point.
Yeah. I think it depends, because high school sports you're playing every single day.
Yeah, I just mean like the variety of different activities.
It'll be hard.
Yeah,
it'll be hard, and you want to get good. Like the older you get, you start to mature about that, right? And you're like,
right.
Like, oh, all right, I really enjoy this. Let me focus on this. I think this just naturally happens. Because as a kid, you ask a first grader if they like math or history, and they don't know. But you ask an 8th grader, and they have a topic they like. Some of it's just natural evolution. But, yeah, hopefully that helps you. Ladies and gentlemen, new episodes Wednesday and Friday. I'm Solid Mike, where you want to find me, 3sb.co for all your apparel needs. And we'll catch you next week.
I'm at the Jim McDane. All the social media. This show is 50% facts, where percent is a word, and 50 is just number. Is 50% facts. This is Spreaker Prime Podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we'll talk to you next week.